Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Debbie Walsh. This is Choose Peace, Love, and Happiness. I created this channel a couple years ago to help share self-help healing information that's out there for anybody that's faced with some challenges in their life that they feel stuck and that they can't heal from. And if you're interested in learning things that you can help heal yourself, that's the goal, right? To share the information to help self-help, because that's kind of what I did through a lot of readings and teachings, and I did get educated as well in counseling. But these are all things that are readily available and out there by so many wonderful people and authors and movers and shakers and all that kind of stuff, right? That I'm just sharing to help other people. That's part of my my journey and my path. So, all right, so this is Wayne Dyer, the 10 Secrets to Success and Inner Peace, and now we're on the 5th secret, which is give up your personal history. So then there's 5 cards with giving up your personal history. So I spoke to that in one of the prior videos that he referenced, which I of course did and knew about, which was to not personalize things, right? To not make things mean something about you, right? Society does it. We do have a societal mindset, if you will, and a societal culture that believes certain things, right? That certain things are right and certain things are wrong, right? And then when things happen, we can personalize things and make it mean something about ourselves, good, bad, or indifferent. But when we suffer and we have hurts, we can't look at things and make it mean something about us, because, circumstances and occurrences are just a circumstance and just an occurrence. It doesn't mean anything about us, but we can make it. And so in essence, we end up causing our own hurts because we think that because this happened, it means something about me when it doesn't, in truth. So he's speaking to this now, right? Give up your personal history, because a lot of times it's not uncommon, but it perpetuates the pain, and then a lot of people get into pain cycles, right, that they have difficulty getting out of. So when he's saying here, give up your personal history, you'll hear people say, if you meet them, wherever they're at in life and on their journey, especially people that are really severely impacted by, things that have happened, you'll hear them, just review all the hurts and the harms and the wrongs that were cast upon them, they believe, right? And that thought obviously doesn't make us feel good, a thought like that, right? And then it makes the individual feel less or lesser than. And then when we have that type of thought process, we're going to take actions to support what we believe. And then we can start down a path of more hurts, right? And more pains because of what we believe. I mean, it's a little more complex than that, but that's the broad stroke of it. So this is spot on. Give up your personal history. So here we go. Remove all labels. Transcending labels that you've placed on yourself or that others have placed upon you opens you up to the opportunity of soaring in the now and in any way you desire. Perfect. We label people. Our society labels people, right? It's very common to label other people, and it's not healthy for the individual doing the labeling, but sometimes people do that so that they can say, and this is obviously he's not saying it here, but it's something I've seen and heard many times, is when we label someone, we want to label them because if we label them, say, as I'll give you an example, say somebody has lung cancer, right? And they were smokers. So people will label and go, oh, well, they were a smoker, so they got lung cancer. And that's, you know, it's kind of their fault type of thing. And they do that to distance themselves from what that person is experiencing. Oh, well, they did that. That's why they got it. So I don't smoke, so I won't get. Like, it's a way of separating from people that have been dealt something that's very difficult and very challenging, right? So it's really not helpful. It's not helpful for the person at all, right? And it shows no compassion or anything, right? So we have to take labels and just put a, you know, if someone throws a label at you, and we just got to stop it and go, that's nice, that's not mine, you know? And it doesn't just apply to that situation, it applies to pretty much all situations in life. If somebody's divorced, if somebody's married, whatever it is, you know, people like to label so that they can put distance. But we have to not accept the labels. That's where all of this self-help work, I'm going to get off on a tangent now. All this self-help work is recognizing that we are responsible for our own thoughts. We're responsible for our own feelings, and we're responsible for our own behavior. That's it. And other people have their own, you know, they have their own thoughts, feelings, and behavior, but they can project it onto us, or, you know, label us in this, you know, example. And we have to say, in our mind, and we don't have to verbalize it. If you have a way to verbalize it you're comfortable with others, you can do that as well. But like, it's a good thing to just say to yourself, I believe, to say, well, that's nice. It doesn't apply to me, you know. So to not accept what people label you as, to filter it out and say, I'm not accepting this label into my experience, into my reality. It doesn't apply to me. And then you move on. The challenge is a lot of people get really stuck if someone labels them and they feel like it doesn't apply, and then they feel like they have to justify themselves or argue with the person or defend themselves against that person. And it can get really deep into the woods, right? And then the person can keep carrying it, going, you know, they said that about me, and that's, and they'll just keep going over it because it affected them, right? But because they somehow accepted what someone else labeled them as being true. And it's not true. What's true is what you believe about yourself, which is really important. And that's where the work would need to take place if, in fact, what you label yourself is not serving you. Okay, so little tangent there, but I thought that was worth saying. Okay, so now our next secret is get out of the wake. Oh my gosh. The wake is only a trail left behind by a boat. It's not what propels it. If you apply this idea to your life, you'll see that what you've left behind is not the cause of what you're experiencing or failing to experience today. Yeah, that's kind of speaks to what I just said, kind of speaks to this as well. Like in the wake is a trail. So when someone puts labels on you, right, if you accept it, you know, they're leaving a wake. And then you're in the wake, right? You're accepting what they've said about you. So it's saying, you know, nope, I'm not buying into this mindset or this belief or this label. And a lot of times when people can shed the labels and tap into their inner knowing and their inner dialogue and their inner landscape of peace, and then they shut out that, they can just move through anything, right? That's the end goal. That's really beautiful. You can move through anything in life because you're not doing, you know, what other people necessarily are doing. You're going by your own inner landscape and not others. Okay, so I'm rambling a little bit, it seems like, but this is really great information. Okay, so the next one is know that your past is over. By referring to previous struggles and using them as reasons for not getting on with your life today, you're assigning responsibility to the past for why you can't be successful or happy in the present. These are all, they're all wonderful and so perfect. That's the truth. That is the God's honest truth. The past is the past. And if when you get into a lot of self-help healing work and you get into connecting to the divine and something bigger than yourself, you know, you'll recognize that things do happen in life. They have no personal, you know, definition of you. But what will happen is things do happen in life, and they do cause us to stop and question. But it's for our growth and for our betterment as we go on our journey, right? So we have to, things happen in the past to lead us on the next steps on our journey. And we don't have to live there, right? And if we recognize that, oh yes, that happened. It was hurtful. It was hard for me. But that's the past. Today's today, and I'm not going to waste today, you know, going back to the past, because I'll just bring the past into today with me, which was hard enough when I went through it in the past, and then experiencing it today. So that's huge. So that's perfect. Okay, we got live in the now. Practice enjoying the present moment rather than using it up, consumed with guilt over the past or worry about the future. Refuse to allow any thoughts based on your past to define you. There we go. It's all connected. All of this is all connected. It really is. And there's a lot now online, and it's a psychological modality as well, and it's big, is like mindfulness, and there's different behavioral therapies that use it. But mindfulness is just staying in this moment right now. Not yesterday and what happened and who said what or this or that, whatever it was. And not tomorrow, what's going to come. Is this going to happen? Is that, am I going to, is it going to be okay? Or it's to just stay in this moment right now. Focus on what you're doing at the exact minute and take each minute as they come and the next minute. And you don't go to tonight and later and tomorrow or this morning. You just stay in the moment. They've done studies, and you end up being more effective. You end up being able to handle more things, because we use some of our mental energy to think about yesterday and last year and whatever and this morning. And we use some of our mental energy to go to tonight and what's this and that and then tomorrow and next week. We use a lot of our energy on those things that the past already happened. The future hasn't happened yet. We can create thoughts about what we think it will be, but we need to stay in today and create today as a wonderful day so that it can build, one wonderful day, then you go to the next and you create it by how you think and how you react and what you believe, right? And you can start creating an inner dialogue for yourself that's absolutely beautiful and wonderful, and your life will flow. You can get into a flow that's wonderful too. So it's all good stuff, and we all do it when we need to do it in divine order. All right, here's the last one. Embrace your personal history. There are no accidents in an intelligent universe, so all the dark times, accidents, illnesses, and broken dreams were part of your spiritual advancement. Embrace them, understand them, accept them, honor them, and then transform them in your own way. It's kind of like, how wonderful is that? That is so wonderful. Oh my God, that is so wonderful. It's kind of like what I just said, basically. So this is all stuff that's so life-changing. It really is. If you understand the concepts, you embrace them, and you apply it into your life, you can really change your life. You really, truly can. We have the power within us to change our experience, right? Because our experiences come from us. So, all right, that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. I'm wishing you peace, inner peace, love, and happiness on your healing journey. If you need help, leave a comment down below what you think of all this stuff. I'd love to hear. I have my contact information in the description box. I'm available to assist and help you on your healing journey. Okay? Namaste. Have a good day. See you in the next one. Bye.